Hey financial warriors, welcome to the video. Now, we have all made mistakes. Like, I made this mistake of buying this bag of 1,000 multicolored balls. It's led to endless practical jokes around the house. But anyway, this is a serious video, and financial mistakes are mistakes that I try not to make. So this is a video on the 6 financial mistakes you are probably making and how to avoid them so you can become a millionaire, in theory. Number 1, living paycheck to paycheck. Did you know that over half of American households are living paycheck to paycheck, which means that everything that comes in each month goes out to spend on food, clothes, the lease on that Lamborghini. The savings rate has been at 7% for the last several years, according to Federal Reserve data. Of course, it increased momentarily for the stimulus, but those were extraordinary circumstances. And what this means is that the average family only saves around 7% of their income to either invest or put into an emergency fund. Now, you may expect that there would be more people living paycheck to paycheck on the lower income levels, and that is true, but what may surprise you is that 40% of people earning over $100,000 a year in the United States are also living paycheck to paycheck. And that's precarious because their monthly expenses are going to be higher. So if they lose their job, they're really going to need that emergency fund to pay for things, or else their liabilities are going to rack up pretty quick and they're going to end up in a downward spiral. So how do you get out of this? Well, there are kind of 2 ways. You can either reduce your costs or increase your income. Now, we will talk about reducing costs later in the video because it's probably the smartest thing to do in the short term, but in the long term, I think increasing your income is really what you want to do whilst keeping your costs the same. And you could do this by trying to get a promotion, applying for a job at a competing company for more money, doing a side hustle like driving for Uber in the evening or selling things on Amazon. There are so many opportunities for things like this in this day and age. And we have a lot of videos on side hustles and different things like that on our channel, so do check some of those out. Anyway, let's move on to the next financial mistake. Number 2, not building your credit score. Now, you may say that you don't need a credit card. Perhaps you've been listening to Dave Ramsey, who keeps just 4 pieces of plastic in his wallet.
I have a debit card on my business, a debit card on my personal account, my driver's license, and my handgun carry permit. Those are the only plastic I carry.
So yeah, all you need are 2 credit cards, a driver's license, and a handgun carry permit. Wait, it was supposed to be a handgun. You got me the wrong gun, man. Anyway, if you don't have any credit products to your name, credit cards or anything else, it becomes very difficult to build your credit score, as Dave Ramsey himself admits.
If you don't have any money, living without a credit score is a lot tougher.
And yeah, that's like most people, Dave, compared to you with a net worth of $200 million. If Dave wants a house, a Lambo, an elephant, he can just buy it without taking out a loan. But most ordinary people have to borrow money for those large purchases in life, most notably their house. And if you don't have a credit score, you will not get the best interest rates on any kind of loan. So pay attention to your credit score, and even if you don't have any specific goal in mind, like buying a house or whatever, just get yourself a couple of credit cards, build your credit score up to the mid 700s, and you'll thank me in the future. Because when you come to buy a house, if you have a low credit score, let's say around 620, and you are buying a house that costs $250,000, you will actually pay $80,000 more in interest over the 30-year life of the loan compared to someone with a credit score of 760. That's $2,666 you would be saving per year if you had just built your credit score. You could literally go on a 5-star vacation every year for 30 years with that money. Or if you'd invested it in the S&P 500 with an 8% gain, that $80,000 would turn into $353,000 after 30 years. And that's all because you just had the foresight to build your credit score. All right, on to the next one. Number 3, buying a brand new car. Check out this brand new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I just picked up from the dealer. No, just kidding. This is a 2017 model that I bought secondhand because it's way smarter to buy a car that's even just 1 year old rather than buying something brand new. This is because cars depreciate most in their first year. In fact, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses about 9% of its value. Oh, I'm losing my 9%. And in the first year, a car can depreciate between 20 and 30%. However, after that, from years 2 to 6, they usually only depreciate between 15 and 18% per year. So if you're someone who just buys a brand new car and then sells it again or trades it in for something else after every 2 years or so, then you're literally doing the worst possible thing you could do. So my strategy is to buy a car that's only 1 or 2 years old with only one previous owner. I let that owner take the hit of the first year depreciation, and then I get a car that's still pretty nice, but is depreciating at a slower rate. And it means that you can afford a much nicer car too than if you bought new. Look, this Jeep has all the features: leather, heated seats, heated steering wheel, backup camera, low four-wheel drive gear, snow mode, so many extras. Now, there may be certain situations where it might make sense to buy new, and I do have a brand new Ford Bronco and a Tesla Cybertruck on order. And if you're a car enthusiast, I don't want to spoil your hobby. But if you are someone who is trying to build their wealth, you can save a lot of money by buying a used car, and you can still get a pretty nice car too. And that money you saved, you can then invest that in stocks. For example, you could open a Webull account and get 2 free stocks, one of them valued up to $2,000, luck of the draw what you get, for investing any amount of money in the account. Seriously, it's a no-brainer. Link down below. All right, on to the next one. Number 4, spending beyond your means. So we all have that one friend who really doesn't earn that much, but everything he owns seems to be Louis Vuitton. Living beyond your means is one of the biggest destroyers of wealth for people at all income levels. So let's use the example of a car and see what you can actually afford. According to experts, your car payment shouldn't be more than 10% of your monthly income. So let's do a little bit of a test and let's see if you can afford a Lamborghini. So this Lamborghini Huracan costs $249,000, and with say a $40,000 down payment, it will cost you $3,884 per month to finance. So for it to be 10% of your monthly income, you'd have to earn $38,000 per month, which is $466,000 per year. Now, if that is you, congrats, you can afford a Lamborghini. If not, I would say you could check out maybe Toyota, Honda, perhaps Hyundai. And you can do this with any area of your spending to test if you are spending too much or not. Housing, for example, shouldn't be more than 25% of your monthly income. Personal items, 5 to 10%. So if you wanted this Louis Vuitton soccer ball, for example, you'd need to earn at least $80,000 per year, and it would have to be the only personal item you bought all year. So realistically, you'd have to earn more like $160,000 or more per year. And even then, would it really be worth it to spend over $4,000 on that? You could get like 5 Tesla shares or 14,000 Dogecoins and probably make some money in the future. So to fix all this, all you need to do is just lower your spending, especially on items that are non-essential. I recommend going online and finding some example household monthly budgets and seeing how your spending fits with that. This one is from financial website The Balance, but there are loads online that you can have a look at. Number 5, paying off your mortgage early. Now, sometimes paying off your mortgage early could be a good idea, but more often than not, it isn't. Business Insider has a very interesting article with 4 reasons why you should not pay off your mortgage early. Now, the first reason is that you may have other debt at a higher interest rate. So mortgage interest rates tend to be much lower than credit cards. Mortgages are like 3 to 5% right now, whereas if you had debt on a credit card, you could be paying up to 20% or more. So if you do have credit card debt, you'd be better off using that money to pay off your credit card debt first, rather than trying to pay off your mortgage early. You would save more money in interest that way. The second reason not to pay off your mortgage early would be if you do not have a full emergency fund. You would be better off saving that money you would be using to pay your mortgage early in a savings account so that you have an emergency fund. An emergency fund, if you don't know, it's normally 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses in a savings account ready to be used. The third reason is if you have a low interest rate on your mortgage, which most people who got their mortgages in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years do have a pretty low interest rate. You would be better off taking that money you would have used to pay off your mortgage early and investing that in the stock market for, say, a 7% gain rather than saving 3.5% on your mortgage interest. Number 4 is that you get a tax deduction for mortgage interest. So if you itemize on your taxes, you can deduct all that money you paid for the whole year in mortgage interest, which means you do not have to pay income tax on that money. All right. Now, this might not sound like that much on its own, but when you combine it with using the money you would have paid your mortgage early with to invest in the stock market at 7%, on top of that, you have got this tax deduction. It's actually quite good. Now, of course, the big exception to this is if you have some mortgage with an insanely high interest rate. Now, if you got your mortgage as recently as 2009, it could be around 7% or even higher if you had a bad credit score at the time, all right? But do remember that with mortgages, you pay off most of the interest during the first half of the mortgage. So if it's a 30-year mortgage, you're going to be paying the bulk of the interest in the first 15 years. So if you're actually halfway through your mortgage or more, it still probably wouldn't make sense to pay off your mortgage early. So the point of this is there are a few small situations, a very small number of situations where it might make sense to pay off your mortgage early, but most of the time, it does not make sense. Number 6. Starting to invest too late. Being an early adopter in any type of investment is really important. If you bought just 20 Bitcoins back in 2015 when they were $300 each, you would have over $1 million now. If you bought Tesla a few years back at $40 per share, you would now be up 1,800%. You could have turned $1,000 into almost $20,000 in the space of a couple of years. The point is, you need to be an early adopter of new and exciting products, technologies, and investments in companies if you want to see those epic gains that you can go and boast about on Wall Street bets. Tesla is one I succeeded with, and I really did have a 1,800% gain. Bitcoin, sadly, I didn't invest early enough. I still did get some gains, but nothing stratospheric. It's more just like a stock gently rising. But don't think you missed the boat, because there are always going to be opportunities. Just this year, there were huge opportunities in both Dogecoin and in meme stocks like AMC and GameStop. Many people made life-changing amounts of money overnight, but these people got in early, did their research, and really understood those industries and those stocks and coins, etc. If you get into something when everyone is already talking about it, there's no way you're going to see those stratospheric gains. In addition to that, if you just want to take the slow and steady approach to investing, that's fine too, but you still need to take the early adoption approach. If you invest just $300 a month into the S&P 500 starting at age 20, you'll have over $1 million by the time you retire at 65. But if you start late, say at 35 years old or whatever, you're really going to have a tough time to get past $1 million by the time you retire, because the growth is exponential. In the final few years, above 60 years old, your wealth is going to be growing at over $70,000 per year. And that's only possible because you started super early. If you start late, you're going to have to be investing $500, $600, $700, $800 a month to get the same returns. All right, guys, that is the video for today. I hope you liked it. If you are interested in investing, you can get 2 free stocks from Webull for depositing any amount of money in their brokerage account, okay? And one of these stocks could be valued up to $2,000. Luck of the draw, what you get. It's basically a no-brainer, guys. Do check it out in the links below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.